Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Andreas Stanka. I am the technical business developer at Vitex. Together with me here as a speaker, we have George Ilias, who is the director of engineering. Just as a quick description of his background, basically, he has over 15 years of experience in web full stack zone, mobile, and also his experience as a software architect. Yeah, and just a quick intro about who we are. A bit about Bytex. We are a team of web development experts who specialize in building custom software solutions. We've got a pretty broad range of skills, from web and mobile app development to UI, UX design, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, with over 80 professionals in our team. So basically, we are able to take on complex projects and come up with innovative solutions that would help any of our clients evolve and grow. To keep it short, we've worked on everything that has to do with building new websites, mobile apps, implementing AI-powered tools. Basically, our goal was always to deliver high-quality result and to bring value to our customers. So yeah, with this, I think I've covered the introduction. So I'll give George the mic now.
Okay, thank you, Andreas. Hi everyone, and thanks for joining. In this session, we'll be exploring the ways of integrating coding assistants into your workflows to take your development teams to the next level. As developers, we're constantly looking for ways to improve our productivity, code quality, and efficiency. And that's exactly what coding assistants can help us achieve. By the end of this webinar, you'll have a clear understanding of how coding assistants can be seamlessly integrated into your existing workflows. And we'll have the following by giving you the following benefits: boosting your productivity and streamlining development, improving code quality and reducing errors, and reducing development time and accelerating time to market. We'll be discussing the benefits, challenges, and best practices for implementing coding assistants, as well as showcasing real-world examples of how they're being used to drive innovation and success. So let's dive in and see how coding assistants can transform your development workflows for the better. I prepared a few examples for this. And let me just move to the next slide. So we're going to talk about some tools that help you prototype, and also some examples of how coding assistants work. And let's go to the prototyping phase. So this is a tool called V0. Let me see if I can bump up the quality a bit. So this is a tool called V0 from Vercel, and it allows you to prototype really fast by uploading like a screenshot or importing from Figma, or actually just writing your prompt directly into the input. And here I asked for a settings page for my users where they can connect to third-party services like Notion, Slack, or Google. And it's going to think and plan a structure. And then generate some code, a preview of what the mockup can look like. So as you can see, like this is a rough initial phase. I'm gonna follow up with selecting the main container and prompting that I want it to be padded left and right. And then I'm gonna follow up with asking the LLM to add the loading state to the connect and disconnect buttons. And basically at the end, we have a workable prototype that we can use in our project. We can copy the components we want of the code. Another tool is bolt.new, where bolt.new is more of a building a project scaffolding from the ground up. So for example, the application I'm going to show you today was built by using this prompt, like create a Next.js 15 application, to-do list application. It's a simple application where you just add to-do list items, mark them as done, and delete them. And this can basically create like the whole project structure for you. Following up, so this is the to-do list app created by bolt.new. You can add items, you can cross them as mark them as resolved and delete them. And what can coding assistants do, like Copilot or Cursor, is they can help you with autocomplete. So for example, like this console log adding a new to-do, you just tab and it autocompletes, saves you some time. Or for example, if you need a mockup, you can create mockups for users, let's say, and you prompt it to generate a user mockup array.
Interesting. And sorry to interrupt you while we wait. This is integrated in your
yeah, in my working environment.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This is Copilot, and there's also a tool called Cursor. I'm gonna get into more details in the next slide about how they are different.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing in this example, it created a user type interface, and it also created a user array with fake data. And I also followed up with the add 2 more users prompt. And it's gonna add 2 more users to that mockup. We're gonna accept the changes, save the file. Another cool thing that coding assistants can do is they can generate the commit message for your changes. For example, here, add mock user data and log new to-do addition. Basically the changes I added earlier. Also, you can autocomplete like functions. For example, this is like I wanted a delay function and it auto completed the rest. I intentionally written an error here so I can ask the coding assistant to fix it. It's gonna fix and it's gonna say like the async keyword needs to be after delay, and it fixed my error. Now I'm gonna ask the Copilot to write a function that picks a random color from a predefined array. It added this code. By selecting a specific function, we can generate, for example, JSDoc for it, which allows us to save some time in like all the boilerplate and like tedious work required for writing such documentation. And next, I'm going to go into the Copilot edit mode, and I'm going to ask for adding specific functionality. So when the user creates a new to-do item, we want to wait for 1.5 seconds, and the new to-do item should have a random color picked as the border. So basically, we're using the generated functions earlier to add the functionality. And analyze the files that we given in the context and propose a solution.
And basically, if I'm saying it right, it's rewriting or restructuring the code all by itself, right?
Mm-hmm. It gives you a proposal, and you can modify that proposal or accept it. For example, here it added like in the to-do interface a new property called color, and also modified the add to-do function to add the delay and also generate that random color. We're going to accept these changes and go to save the file and go to the browser and see how they look. There's one thing the assistant forgot to export that delay function. So always check the codes, always verify that things look accurate. And now, as you see, I added a new to-do. It waited for 1.5 seconds and added a random color to the worker. So basically, added new functionality and now we generated a commit message, add color feature to to-dos, and implement A1 addition. We commit. Another scenario for coding assistance would be generating unit tests. And we have like unit test generated. For example, it should return a string should return a valid color, should return different colors across multiple cores. We're going to assume the tests are valid, but as I said, always check. And the last use case I want to show you is something I recently stumbled upon. So I was remotely copying via SSH from a server to local a folder, and I noticed that the folder had too many files, and remote copy basically is a command that is quite slow. And I asked it to replace the remote copy with rsync, which is a command that's a lot faster. It uses like multi-threaded approach and copies things in parallel. And as you can see, it converted my previous command to the new command, added the identity in SSH, which is like more of a complicated use case. That's all from the examples. We'll move on to the next part. By comparing Copilot with Cursor and also mentioning some other alternatives. So Copilot is the coding assistant you saw in the previous video. It's a AI pair programming tool for Visual Studio Code, while Cursor brings you kind of the same features, but it is a standalone IDE, potentially offering a more seamless and intuitive experience. Cursor is based on Visual Studio Code and is fully compatible with all Visual Studio Code extensions. And both allow you to get code suggestions as you type or use inline chat in the editor to write code faster.
And sorry to interrupt you, but you've mentioned that Copilot is based on Visual Studio Code, but aside of that, are those two significantly different, or this is the only difference between them?
So at this point, it's not a major difference. Basically, because Cursor is a standalone IDE, they're able to add UI elements that a normal extension for Visual Studio Code can't. So they have more privileges, let's say. And now, regarding like the pros and cons, for Copilot, I think it's suitable for smaller projects. Has more of a wider industry usage and support, so it's easier to pick up. And the pricing is lower. So for example, Copilot has a free tier and also a $10 per month subscription, while Cursor is at $20 per month. On the other side, Cursor brings a better dev experience. Being a dedicated IDE, it brings you better UX and a more seamless experience. And also tends to be faster in performance because like they can optimize some things that an extension can't. Other similar alternatives in the extension side are Codium, Kodi, Aider, and SuperMaven. On the IDE side, another alternative to Cursor is Windsurf. And more recently, like there are terminal-based alternatives like Cloud Code. We're gonna move on to talk about some integration benefits. And one of the key benefits of coding assistants is their ability to generate high-quality code quickly and efficiently by reducing the time spent on coding repetitive tasks. You can automate boilerplate code generation, and you can focus on higher level tasks such as architecture and design. They can also help you debug your code more efficiently by identifying errors and bugs more quickly. And you can get suggestions for fixing errors and improving code quality, as you've seen in the video example. Also, coding assistants can significantly boost your productivity, and you can deliver high-quality software faster and more reliably. And also, you can improve your overall development experience by making it more enjoyable and efficient.
Interesting. And can you also tell us about exactly that's what I was going to ask about. Are there any good practices or any recommendation in this direction regarding the usage of the AI?
So definitely, we're at the early stage of these tools. Like their maturity isn't like very high at this point. But prompt engineering or structuring your requests may help them understand your request more easily and respond to it. And I'd say the response is more valuable as you give it more details and a bit of a structure. And here are a few quick tips you should remember while crafting your prompts. You should break down your complex tasks. So if a task is more complex, write in some steps that the assistant should follow. Be very specific about your requirements. So for example, in the generate random color function. If you want the predefined colors to be hex codes, you should mention that. Also provide examples of things like input data, outputs, and implementations. And yeah, as you can see in the slide, you shouldn't say like, why is my program slow? You should be more specific, like my Python script is processing a large number of JSON files and etc. Another topic we should cover is mitigating possible drawbacks. I would say you should use coding assistants as a starting point. They can generate boilerplate code and suggest possible solutions, but you need to review the generated code carefully to ensure that it meets your requirements and is actually accurate. Uh, Also, you should understand the limitations. They are not perfect and can make mistakes. Always read and understand the generated code. Don't just copy and paste to what was generated without understanding what it does. Take time to read and comprehend the code and learn from it to improve your skills. And also test the generated code to ensure like you don't have edge cases and you covered like all the reasonable bugs and security vulnerabilities. One thing I would also mention is by using coding assistants, you kind of tend to go into a more passive state of mind. So always try to be like careful of what the coding assistant is proposing, so you make sure you generate quality code.
So basically, like you said many times during this presentation, always double check your code.
Yeah, I think that's the stepping stone for
Yeah.
using tools. They are quite fast, but at the same time, fast means that you tend to break things easier.
Cool. Yeah, fast doesn't always mean perfect or good or yeah. But yeah, this like everything you said now sounds great. But like, do you have any success stories from within? Actually, I do know that you have, but I would like you to present them, like the success stories from within Bytex.
Okay, so one of the latest projects I've been involved in was a startup. And to give you an example how they delivered their product much faster, uh, when uh, when creating like the initial prototypes of the pages, we were able to build them faster by using tools like V0. Uh, and that allowed us to test and validate our ideas more quickly. This in turn enabled us to make necessary adjustments and improvements in a shorter amount of time, ultimately leading to a faster time to market. Another key area where coding assistants made a significant impact is when handling repetitive tasks like create, read, update, delete endpoints, a common task that can be time-consuming and mundane for developers. And coding assistants automated this process, generating necessary code for these endpoints at a faster rate and saved us a lot of time. We also use them in writing documentation and unit tests. And these are essential components for the development process, but they can be, as the other endpoints or examples, they can be very time-consuming to maintain or to create. And all this allowed us to focus on higher level things, such as designing and implementing new features, while still maintaining a reasonable code quality and reliability in our code base.
Basically focusing on the important things that would really require your brain power.
Exactly.
And not, yeah.
And that's about it for what I wanted to say about coding assistant. Um, we'll have a short Q&A session.
Well, then I presume that I can address my first question. I'm really curious, how do you see those coding assistants evolving? Because I mean, I presume that everyone read or at least heard that presumably those would, at some point in time, would take um, the developers' places, testers, and everything. But I'm curious from your perspective, with all those years as a background, how do you see them evolving from this point on?
So they definitely might reach a point where they're as good as current software developers or even better. I think the the issue in the industry is the adoption rate. So basically, they might they might get very good, but companies might be slow to adopt them, or at least
Mm-hmm.
be cautious, like in making sure the results are of good quality and are tested before like rolling it out 100%, let's say. And as you can probably notice on social media, there are like a lot of examples of coding assistants doing a relatively good job, and people, as I said before in the presentation, they focus on higher level items and architecture. So development is gonna change, but I guess it's gonna change for the better. That's how I see it. At this point in time, I think
Mm-hmm.
there is room for improvement in stability and developer experience. So these tools are quite rough. They're not like uh, the the best integration or the best experience to develop with. Uh, so yeah, I guess there's room for improvement in that as well.
Great, thank you. Okay. So no worries about, at least not in the near future, there wouldn't be any worries about losing their jobs, right?
Who knows?
Uh,
I
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I mean, it's pretty obvious that like they've appeared, evolved, at least from my perspective, in a pretty good piece. But like, I think there if it hasn't happened yet, like they will soon hit some sort of a ceiling, a plafond, or how is it called? Like they would start to progress slower than before from now on.
Yeah, it's probably a mix between like
Yeah, yeah. But
all the
like, yeah,
things we discussed.
you've told us a lot about them, but like when it comes to choose one of them, like what we should consider, or what companies should consider when choosing such an AI when it comes to supporting their dev teams.
So I think currently the market is very saturated. There are too many options and very little
Mm-hmm.
differences. A lot of products do basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess that with time, as some products will mature, they'll become like market leaders, and
Mm-hmm.
the option will be more evident, and the choice would be easier. I'd say the most important thing at this point is to find something that you like
Mm-hmm.
and implement it with your whole team. So I would suggest like being consistent in the tools you're using. So if any team decides to use Cursor or Copilot, I guess there should be unity in that, and everybody should be on the same tooling.
So once chosen, just stick to it. Do not try to jump from one another. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and also like having a developer that uses one tool and having a developer that uses another might create like consistency issues between uh, uh, commits.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sounds legit, yeah. So I know that someone else here has some experience in coding with assistants, and that other person is not Livia. Just a hint, it's our colleague Alexandru. And if he would like to share some thoughts with us, that would be great.
Yes. Hey, hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Hey, Alex. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to share my experience with Cursor. So I'm a full stack developer here at Bytex. And I've been using Cursor for about a year now. So when I first stumbled upon Cursor, I was skeptical. So what? Another AI coding tool? I tried several before, like Copilot, the one from JetBrain, but they always left me feeling like I was spending more time fixing their mistakes than actually coding. So yeah, I discovered Cursor, and now I'm using Cursor for about 80% of my coding tasks. My favorite feature in Cursor is YOLO mode. So despite the scary name, it was a game changing for me. So what is YOLO mode? Basically, it allows Cursor to run tests, make fixes, like running terminal commands and creating directories, files, and more stuff like that. Like any tool, it's not perfect, so I still need to monitor it work, and occasionally hit the stop button because it goes nuts sometimes. But despite all problems, I still use it and I love it. And yeah, that's my experience with Cursor.
Thanks, Alex. Very, very interesting insight.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing this with us. It's actually interesting that basically it tests your code, but afterwards you just come and like check on it if it did a good job, and like it's some sort of a double check. But yeah, thank you very much. Also, thank you, Georgia, for your presentation. With this, we've covered our topic. Thank you very much for your time, for being here.